Good evening everybody and welcome tonight as we are here at Silverstone. One of my favourite spectator circuits as a British motorsport fan. This is one of my favourite spectator circuits anyway. But these cars are absolutely fantastic. Mazda Mx5's. This is going to be the final Friday event run with the Mx5's. They'll be moving across to the Wednesday time slot instead. The Friday being replaced with a new car yet to be announced. And I'm not even allowed to run, and I'm a staff member. So not too sure what that car is going to be. But we shall find out after tonight's event once that post goes live. If you want to check it out, be sure to head over to racedepartment.com and go over to the Assetto Corsa Racing Club sub-forums. Currently in our session at the moment, we have about 9 minutes remaining of the 30-minute qualifying session. Tariq Gamil on pole at the moment, ahead of Jeffrey Tazanoy and Scott Nichols. And are those three drivers very fast? Of course, looking through your order then, it's been a while since I've broadcasted one of these events properly. I was supposed to broadcast the rookie event on Wednesday, but for some reason my OBS wouldn't connect to the internet, so I wasn't able to bring you that. So we're going to go through and have a little bit of a look at some of the new names for me tonight, because it's been a while since I've got into this, and there are a few new names for me. Jeff Tournier, I have said his name before, but it's a relatively new name. I haven't said it a lot. So Tournier 4th. He's been here every now and then, I believe, in my streams anyway. Then we have Samuel Fuller in 5th. That is a new name completely for me in 5th. Andrew Ford, this is one of his first club events that I've broadcasted. I know that he is quite a seasoned member of racedepartment.com. He's currently racing in the Le Mans series, so are a number of our drivers. I'll say over 150 drivers are a part of the Race Department Le Mans series. Andy Dixie, relatively new. I've been saying his name a few times now the past week or two. Dimitri Dinut, he said this is only his second race with us, so it's nice to see him. Now, Edward Janosweski, I've said that name a few times, but not so much. Obviously, a new staffy alongside us. Eddie is one of our techie side of the staff members, but he is he's in 10th in the session at the moment, and relatively new to me broadcasting. Further down, Dennis Betty, a very seasoned member of Race Department, very seasoned staff member as well. 15th in the session at the moment, but new to my broadcasting, so welcome to him. Further down your order, we have Bill Saluta, first time I believe on Assetto Corsa, and first time with us as well, so good evening Bill. Thorben Pulick, again, also I believe it's his first time with us as well. Paul Wright joins us as well. As you can see, there are 3 Wrights at the bottom of them, and we do not believe that any of them any of us are related, but it's to be confirmed. We very possibly could all be long lost family members. Paul Wright, Ernie Wright, and myself, Joseph Wright. And then Paul Bennett returns to us. I believe it's been a while since Bennett raced with us. This is the first time for Paul Wright though with us. So we are sitting here. This is the first turn. This is Abbey. So this is the corner that we're sitting at. Now we are going to go and have a little proper watch. We are currently watching Roop Wilson. Good evening, Laurie, in the chat. Hello and welcome. Good evening, everyone watching with us tonight. Going through Aintree goes Roop Wilson. We're going to ride on board. Now I did say, Roop, that we were going to ride on board with him in this session because we were having a bit of banter going around in the Team Street channel for the past hour or so. No, it's been about, actually no, yeah, for the past hour or so we've been putting in the banter, maybe even more actually. We are a little bit late with the starting tonight. Oh, he pulls over, he just knows we're watching. We're going to run on board with Tariq Gamil. He's not currently on a hot lap at the moment. We are currently running a little bit behind schedule tonight, so as you can see we're 5 minutes past 8 GMT already. However, we've still got 5 minutes left of qualifying. There was just some issues with moving across and some timing issues from a certain Roop Wilson. But we are a little bit behind in the times, plus the additional time it puts between the sessions as well, like maybe 4 or 5 minutes in between each of the sessions, which doesn't help to the timings being wrong anyway. That means we'll get going for the race about 1/4 by the time all the timings have ticked across at the end of the session. Now, Tariq Gamil really exploiting track limits through Chapel there. Car spinning off. Who was that? I'm not too sure. But this is Magnus Sternberg. We're going to go right on board with Magnus. He's coming up to do a time lap. And I don't want to run on board with your fastest guy because it's always the same. And I do that every single broadcast. We're always looking at the fastest guys, watching them push to the absolute limit. And it's like, it's not relatable. I could never get as fast as some of those fastest guys. 26.035. Now, I do have to mention, though, that time between... Ooh, Sternberg really pushing to the inside of Stowe there. But I have to mention that time between Fuller and Tazanoy, only 0.02 of a second. They're on 226.65s. And then Fuller is at 0.06 of a second. Tazanoy at 0.08 of a second. Coming through Club now, through the final corner. And going to come up to your timing line, onto the international pit straight, crosses the line and goes on to a lap. Now, to improve on one position, he has to gain 0.150 seconds. To gain on 2 positions, he only has to gain about 0.2 of a second. But to gain even higher than that, he's going to have to gain about a second on his lap time just to get up more positions. But he can get past Dennis Betty. He can get into 16th position. He's going to push into the loop now. That's on the exit of Village, into the loop. And now heading up along the left-hander through Aintree. And he's going to go on to the very, very long straight of Corsa. Wellington Straight. That's the name of this straight along here. Underneath the bridge. I was lucky enough this year for the British GP to go and sit on multiple of the grandstands, goes down on multiple of the banks, and it's going to be it really is nice to see now going on board a circuit, broadcasting, bringing you this event, commentating it. It's nice to do that, bearing in mind I have sat now at pretty much every part of this corner, every part of this course, and coming along now on through Woodcott. I have to admit that up here was my favourite place to... it was standing on Friday evening. We were watching the Porsches come around, me and my dad, through this corner. Absolutely amazing, through Cops Corner. It's fantastic to see. A number of people exploiting track limits there in the Porsches. However, I don't think we've seen too many people run too wide there. Hello, Leslie B. Mods, and RIP Friday Mazda Fun. Yes, it very much is RIP Friday Mazda Fun, because obviously these Friday Mazdas are no more after tonight's event. They will be moving across to the Wednesday time slot. I will be racing actually next Wednesday. I've decided to get back involved with racing in the rookies. However, we probably will not broadcast it purely because of it's a bit too much work for me having to race and broadcast. It's just too much at the moment for me, so we'll probably not broadcast that. However, we will probably broadcast whatever's happening next Friday. Now, next Friday is a whole surprise car with the new friendly event car on the Friday, so we shall wait to see. With only 1.5 minutes to go, we're looking on board Magnus Sternberg, still coming through Club Corner, braking a little bit early there. Now, it looks like the driver who was in front of him has improved, because now he's only got Dennis Betty about 0.2 in front of him, but so he can only move to 17th. Will he move up to 17th is the question. Wow, I thought he would only be able to improve 0.2. Ignore that, because he's just moved up 1.5 seconds. Magnus Sternberg moves to 13th position. A really nice lap time running on board with Sternberg there as we head into Village. You can just see the corner here through the loop. What a time there. 50 seconds to go. Going to talk you through your results now as we are just going to look at the loop here. Tariq Gamil is going to start the race today on pole. That's important. But Scott Nichols in second. But I still have to look. Actually, we are going to go have a little find. See if we can find Samuel Fuller. Is in 3rd in the session now. A new name for me, at least. Don't know whether he is fully new with us or not. But Samuel Fuller in 3rd in the session at the moment is really making a stamp in our broadcast. 3rd position, coming along international pit straight, coming to the line. It's not an improvement. It's still really close with Jeffrey Tazanoy. In fact, we're going to go have a little look for Jeffrey now. Jeffrey is only, as you can see in that subtitle at the bottom, only 0.02 of a second slower than Samuel Fuller. He is on a time lap now. It's going to be his last chance of improving and getting past Samuel Fuller. He's only 2 thousandths of a second. He doesn't even need to push to get that lap time. He knows that he's able to get that lap time just with one tiny non-mistake that he may have made on his previous lap. But the issue is, knowing you're that close to the time means you are going to push. You really are. It's like, I only need to find 2 thousandths of a second. Let's just go all out to do it. It's not going to mean much come the race. A half an hour race, it can all change at, like that, right at turn 1. It's going to be absolutely, it's going to change up a lot. And I think Jeffrey Tasnoi, if he's able to stick with Samuel Fuller, being only 2 thousandths of a second difference between them, I think he's going to have a real easy time at sticking with Samuel Fuller and maybe make a move very early on. If you do want to get involved with these races, of course, or get back involved, all you have to do is head over to racedepartment.com, become a premium member today. It's only $7.50, I think it still is at the moment. I will have to double check that. If not, it's €10 for the entire year of racing. That includes our club events. It also includes our leagues. Obviously, we have the Le Mans Series racing at the moment. We also have the GTs coming up in September, and also we have the a new league being announced in about a week's time. But you can get involved, all of that. All you have to do is head over to racedepartment.com and become a premium member. Obviously, the TeamSpeak banter is absolutely amazing. You will hear that next week if you join us in our American races, because they will be a lot of banter. Jeffrey Tasnoi, though, coming across the line now to see if he can improve. And he does! Jeffrey Tasnoi improves right at the last moment and puts it into 3rd. Samuel Fuller sits in 4th at the conclusion of the session. So with that, what we're going to do, actually, 1 minute, if we just get the camera set up here to get a nice little shot. Don't you dare. Fine then. Just quickly get a nice little shot and then we'll run through your qualifying order. Boof. Right. Qualifying, Tariq Gamil qualified on pole position, about 1/10 ahead of Scott Nichols, who finished in 2nd. Jeffrey Tasnoi improving right at the very end, moves up and takes 3rd on the 2nd row of the grid, but only knocking Samuel Fuller down to 4th, which is still on the front row of the grid and very possibly on the better side for turn number 1, the more ideal side to be starting. Jeffrey Tasnoi qualified in 5th position with Andrew Ford in 6th. Simon Hodge came across across the line in 7th position in your qualifying session with Akim Demuth, Andy Dixie and Dimitri Denit rounding out your top 10. There we go. 11th is Edward Januszewski. Dave Peat qualified in 12th, followed by Magnus Sternberg. Rick Wilson qualified in 14th position with Hap Grassoff in 15th. Flavio Bozkurt qualified in 16th with Nuno Rodriguez, Denny Betty, Bill Salter and Thorben Paluk rounding out your top 20. At the rear of the field, very rightly for me, you have Paul Wright, Paul Bennett and Ernie Wright. Now we saw this actually, Ernie Wright, the first ever broadcast that I did, Ernie Wright started at the rear of the field without putting in a lap time, and that was in the Fiat Abarth around Silverstone National, and he climbed up the order and if I'm not mistaken finished in a top 5, and there were what, 24 cars in that one, I believe it was fantastic. He climbed right up the order. He may be looking to do the same today. Silverstone may be his best circuit out there then. Obviously, we were only running the National back then. We're now running the Grand Prix circuit. Last time I raced in the Mazdas around Silverstone, we were running the International circuit. And that was a lot of fun. Of course, that was the race where I actually, when I was running around, I stupidly broke my car. And I did that by breaking the clutch. It wouldn't go into gear. Now, we saw that a number of times when I first started the Mazdas races. I did it in my first 3 races, I believe. And when I did it here at Silverstone, it was on the penultimate lap of the race. I was in like 4th or 5th or something. And I just broke. I had to brake. I stopped at the line. And then everyone was going through. I was thinking, don't hit me across the line. Don't hit me across the line. The race hasn't finished. Don't hit me. And then it came to an end. And then someone just came right into the back and went woof, and just pelted me across the line. And it was hilarious. A lot of fun that race was, and hopefully we'll get a lot of fun tonight. Obviously we won't get all the TeamSpeak banter that we would get if we were racing ourselves, because I like to keep it professional. I know Jim likes to sit in TeamSpeak. You can listen to everyone, and I know a lot of people like that, but I find it very awkward to talk into TeamSpeak in commentary. This way it's a little bit easier. Good evening everyone watching tonight. Be sure to say hello in chat. I'll say hello back. Be sure to also subscribe if you're new around here. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button as well, because I really do appreciate when you do hit that thumbs up button. If you also want to donate to racedepartment.com, there is a link in the description below. If you go to that, you're able to donate money to us, which I'm very much appreciative of, and so is everyone at racedepartment.com. We are about to get going, and we're about 30 seconds away. You can hear the engine starting to rev. Some people hitting their rev limiter. I believe that's actually a race leader who's just going onto the throttle and off the throttle, because if I look very closely, I can see his hand moving to the gear shift and then moving back again. But here we go. The lights are about to get going. 10 seconds on our clock. The lights will start to be ticking up now. There they go. 3, 4, 5, and 6 red lights. We are about to get going for the start of the race tonight. 30 minutes of racing in front of us, and we are away, and we are heading down into turn number 1. It looks like everyone's got away nice and cleanly. Yes, they have, in fact. And Scott Nichols is holding on to second position into turn number 1. He's done that very well. Jeffrey Tasnoy into third. There's a little bit of a slide there from Akim Demuth, but he holds it absolutely perfectly. A few cars running side by side. This is Dimitri Denis. He's running side by side with Andy Nixie, but in comes Edward Janeski looking for a top 10 up the inside. He's able to do that absolutely wonderful, but maybe not actually, because he has still got Magnus Sternberg, so has actually lost positions down the order. He's not gained up the order, as our computer really does not like the frame rate of how many cars are going into the loop there. That was Simon Hodge coming off the racing line a little bit, but we are side by side. Or maybe even 3 wide a little bit. The front there is definitely side by side. Tariq Camille going to be on the inside line. Scott Nichols technically got the lead at the moment. Will he be able to hold it? He can't. Scott Nichols is going to have to hold on to second position at the moment. Tariq Camille stays in your lead. Jeff Tournier leaving absolutely no room for Simon Hodge. And here comes Jeffrey Tasanoy. It's going to be 3 wide in the exit of Luffield. And it's going to be... who's actually going to come out ahead? It's 3 wide going into Woodcott now. Maybe even 4 wide, because that looks like Samuel Fuller is going to get involved. 4 cars very close going up towards Stowe. No, not Stowe, sorry. Coming up towards, oh my god, the name's gone out the top of my head here. Coming up to Cops here. And it's going to be Jeffrey Tasanoy on the inside line. And that's going to be... I don't know who that was went wide. Tariq Camille down into second position by the look of it. We're coming up now into the Maggots and Beckett's complex. They're very close indeed. Jeffrey Tasanoy is going to be able to hold on to the lead, but Tariq Camille is down because that's Scott Nichols. Scott Nichols is through by the look of it. Yes, he is. He's on the outer line, coming on the exit of the section. Who's going to be able to hold it? This is just so close at the moment between your leaders. They're going to go 3 wide again, but this isn't Tariq Camille because he's behind. This is Samuel Fuller going 3 wide. There are 6 cars involved in this. Don't tell me you're going to go 5 wide. Oh my god, this is crazy. It's almost 6 wide, in fact. Now we're into Stowe. This is absolutely fantastic. This is amazing. I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm just confused with who's in this battle. Definitely with now my standings going absolutely crazy on the left-hand side. So Scott Nichols is down to second. Samuel Fuller is into the lead. Jeffrey Tasnoy is going to try and hold it on the inside in club. He's going to be able to do it, but here comes on the inside line Simon Hodge, going to look for a podium. Will he be able to do it? Oh my god, this is so close on the exit of lap number 1. This is crazy. It's only lap 1, guys. Scott Nichols side by side here with Jeffrey Tasnoy. Tasnoy's going to have the inside going up through Abbey. It looks like he's going to be able to do it. Scott Nichols stuck on the outside, but no, because Nichols is actually being able to hold it on the outside line perfectly done. And here comes Simon Hodge now on the outside of Jeffrey Tasanoy, who's going to be able to do it. They go into Village Corner, and it looks like it's going to be Tasanoy, because Tasanoy is now on the outside of Scott Nichols. Is he going to be able to make the move? It doesn't look like he is, and here comes Simon Hodge involved in a big side back there. That was for Andrew Ford. He's got it back straight though. Side by side for Jeff Tournier and Tariq Camille. Tariq Camille qualified on pole. He is dropping down your order here. He may be even down to 6th, but look at Samuel Fuller. He has really pulled away out in your race lead. Side by side here between Jeffrey Tasanoy and Scott Nichols. Tazanoy's got the inside line. There's also side by side behind. That's Tariq Gamil holding on to the position. But here comes Jeffrey Tazanoy still on the inside line, sorry, of Scott Nichols. It's now the outside through Luffield. Can't quite do it. He's going to have to stay behind. My frame rate is absolutely biting at the moment. It hates it. How many cars are involved in this battle? It's just the closest battle I've had at the start of a race in so long. This is crazy. Scott Nichols still going to be trying his hardest to hold on that move to Jeffrey Tazanoy here. Tazanoy on the outside line, and he drops behind for Cops, and he's going to go for the switchback. And here comes Tariq Gamil. He's gone off and he's hit the brakes. Very rightly so. It's now coming into Maggots and Beckett's complex. There goes your race leader, Samuel Fuller, already miles ahead. Then it's Jeffrey Tazanoy, Scott Nichols, Tariq Gamil, Simon Hodge, Jeff Tournier involved in that 5-car scrap for P number 2 at the moment. Coming through Maggots and Beckett. It looks like there was a side-by-side in the exit. It is Scott Nichols who's going to be down the order. Tariq Gamil back up to third. And here comes Simon Hodge to get involved as well. And will they go 3 wide coming along Hanger Straight? It doesn't look like they are at the moment. It's going to be side-by-side. They're going to follow the slipstream. It's actually going to knock Scott Nichols down even further. On the outside line is Simon Hodge and Jeff Tournier. This is Tournier in the red car on the outer line. Just keeps 2 wheels within the circuit. He doesn't have to come off the throttle. He's going to try staying there, but he can't quite do it. Just up ahead, though, Simon Hodges side by side with Tariq Gamil. Gamil, there's contact on the outside. Scott Nichols has gone around. Jeff Tournier has parked it on the apex. He rightly moves that out of the way to wait for Scott Nichols, but that was definitely going to come at some point because it was so close between your leading cars. That was absolutely crazy. And you see they're both slowing on the side. And I think they're just waiting until it's clear. Paul Bennett, though, is on the outside there of Luke Wilson. Couldn't quite do it, and now he's down the position as well to Nuno Rodriguez, who moves up in your leading battle, though. This is Tariq Gamil still behind Simon Hodge for P number 3. It's about half a second at the moment. Not able to do anything. Edward Janowski is still behind. And again, my frame rate is just biting mainly through this loop here. Now into Aintree, and Edward Janowski is all behind Magnus Sternberg, riding on board along Wellington Straight, heading down towards Brooklands. Sternberg moves to the left-hand side to defend. Janowski moves to the right-hand side to get that line, and he's tried on the outside of Brooklands, can't quite do it. He's tried to get it so he could be run side by side into Luffield, but it just didn't work out, and now he very possibly could be under attack from Andrew Ford, looking to move up your order as well. Back at your top, though, back in that battle for P number 3, Tariq Gamil is behind Simon Hodge, and that's about 2 tenths between them at the moment. Riding on board, Gamil looks for the inside, knows he can't do anything through Cops, drops it back behind, but he's got a better run down towards Maggots and Beckett's complex. And now on the left-hand side, Gamil tries to do it on Hodge and really be able to make that move. We see it in the distance. He has. Tariq Gamil has already gone through. Absolutely amazing there. Tariq Gamil already up to P number 3, and that battle behind is about 5 cars involved at the moment, and it seems to be running rather well. It's got Akim Demuth leading Magnus Sternberg, Edward Janowski, Andrew Ford really close behind Edward Janowski there, and that's actually Hap Garsoff trying to get involved just behind. Andrew Ford, you just see pulling off the bumper of Janowski, coming up along Hanger Straight, heading up towards Stowe now. He's going to be on the outside line. He's not going to have any room. Janowski leaves him as little room as possible. Ford is a really good endurance driver, so he knows about waiting and just waiting for a better opportunity to make move through, and I think that's what he's doing here. Just up ahead, Magnus Sternberg not waiting for a better opportunity to go through, tries it on the outside of Akin Demuth, has to drop behind through Club there, and now will Andrew Ford get a better exit through Club? It looks like he has. Really get the faster line though, heading up towards turn number 1 of Abbey. And now into the right-hander. He's gonna try, but we're gonna go have a look at Ernie Wright behind Thorben Pulik. This is a battle for 13th, and we know that Ernie Wright started in 23rd. He's already up to 14th. Now, I did mention that he is a driver that does try to make the that he can make the moves. He's really good at overtaking. That was Scott Nichols getting past Paul right there, and that was for 17th position. But once more, Edward Janowski is going to now go for the move past Magnus Sternberg, and has been able to do that on the exit exit of the loop coming through Aintree. Now along Wellington, they're side by side, and here comes Andrew Ford to the inside. Up to Brooklyn, just going to be 3 wide. Andrew Ford on the inside, he backs out, but he doesn't back out, he breaks a little bit later. They're going to be 3 wide. Are they going to be able to stick it together? They are. Andrew Ford remains on the outside line, just turns in. There's a little bit of contact. Edward Janosweski is going to get back going again. It definitely looks like that was just a racing incident. And through up goes Grassoff, and now Grassoff is going to look to get the move past Andrew Ford. This is going to be for P number 7 if I'm not mistaken. No, that's for P number 8, and that was... No, that is for P number 7. Andrew Ford currently sitting in 7th, and Grassoff around the outside. He's going to be up the position, but he's going to completely exploit track limits there. He's going to have to game off the throttle, and he's going to have to give back the time to that. But here comes Grassoff. He is right behind, coming up into Maggots and Beckett. Through Maggots, he's got right behind Ford, and now he's gone to the inside already. There's big contact, and it's thrown Andrew Ford off. Completely cut, and he's spun. Oh no, he's spun and he is facing the wrong way, but here comes Grassoff to slow down, to give the position to Andrew Ford to get going again. And that's exactly what we like to see in our club events. Through goes Thorben, Pulick and Ernie Wright though, and that has just promoted Ernie Wright up to 12th if I'm not mistaken. So Ernie will be really happy with that. Now he's on the outside of... not sure who he's battling with now. This is Thorben Pulick, of course. So once all of our standings on the left-hand side update, we will see the actual position that Ernie Wright sits in. 12th is where he sits behind Thorben Pulick. Andy Dixie, though, is looking to get past Edward Janoweski on the inside, coming through club corner. Can't quite make that move. Has to sit behind for now, and he will remain in 8th position. Obviously, Edward Janoweski getting involved in that earlier contact that has allowed Magnus Sternbury to really pull away. No, it hasn't. Where's Magnus just suddenly gone? Magnus Sternbury, it looks like, has disconnected from the server. He's just disappeared when I was looking at his name. Ernie Wright, though, looking to move up the positions. He has got Grassoff all over his rear. I believe that. No, that's Andrew Ford. Now that is Grassoff, because Andrew Ford's already made the move through, so Ernie Wright already losing those 2 positions immediately. He's got Grassoff on his outside. They're going to be running side by side here now. Grassoff on the outside of Wright. Wright's going to be able to hold it on the inside line. And there's big contact. Wright just not leaving any room for Grassoff. That certainly wasn't Grassoff's fault, who continues racing. That certainly wasn't. Ernie Wright leaving absolutely no room at all. Comes back onto the circuit rather dangerously, right into the middle of the circuit. Jeff Tournier, Flavio Bosca, having to make the move around the outside. Well, move to the outside, completely off the racing line to avoid any contact there. Andy Dixie is still in this battle for P number 6 with Edward Janoweski. He's got Dave Peat very close behind as well. Jeff Tournier is rather close behind Bosca, but I want to watch this 3-car battle as they head through Cops. Again, there's too many cars around the Silverstone circuit. My computer really doesn't like it tonight. It is quite annoying that we're getting those frame drops. Now we're going to try and get better corners through Maggots and Beckett. Here we go. This is better corner, better cameras coming through as they go through. Andy Dixie, look how close he is to the racing line. Such a different racing line being moved by Dave Peat behind. They're coming now up towards onto Hangar Straight. We're going to ride on board with Dave Peat, who can see Dixie and Janoweski up ahead. He's only about 6/10 down. But Dixie is only half a tenth off of Janoweski. Now, slipstream, not too big a factor in these cars, but it still is going to do something and will help you close up a little bit. Obviously, your racing line is going to mean something as well, and that was a little bit of a wobble from Pete coming into Stowe Corner, so can't quite close up the gap. In fact, it opens up a little bit. The gap between Dixie and Janoweski does the same, to about 6/10 coming up into Club Corner now. What will the gap do here? And it looks like Dave Peat is going to be now out of the battle in front of them. Andy Dixie, though, not too sure what he is going to be able to do. But this is a battle between Pulick and Scott Nichols. Now, Nichols, we saw getting that incident earlier on, knocked him completely out of that battle for the lead, for second position, sorry, that he was involved in. He's going to be on the inside, coming through Abbey, and a nice, easy picking of Pulick there for him. Behind Pulick, actually, that's going to be Grassoff, trying to move back up the order himself. Going to be on the inside into Village, and absolutely no room from Pulick. Grassoff did come from quite far back, though. He's going to drop off. Pulick's going to be back on the inside. Hapgarsov's going to try around the outside. Can't quite do it. And Pulick's going to hold on to 12th. Now, I'm not sure if that was just Garsov allowing the position to be given back because he felt like the contact was his fault. So he didn't want to gain the position in that manner. I'm not too sure, but heading along Langton Straight now up towards Brooklands. He's going to move to the inside on Pulick. And it looks like that is going to easy this time be 12th position for him. Pulick leaving absolutely a whole load of room on the inside. I think we could have fit maybe 2 or 3 tanks on the left-hand side of the car. Nuno Rodriguez, though, is sitting in 14th. We'll be trying to get past Ernie Wright. Now, Wright, we saw getting massively up the order, was doing really well indeed. But unfortunately, it looks like since he's been overtaken from Hapgarsov and Andrew Ford after their little scuffle, means that these guys, I think that's actually sort of meant that Wright doesn't feel as confident in his car. We obviously do have another Wright racing as well. We have Paul Wright sitting in 18th position. So he's not doing the greatest of races himself. But I think this is his first race back with race department for a long time. So if not his first race with race department, I believe. So welcome, Paul. And now coming through the left hand there. This is Pulick trying to get back past Hapgarsov. I'm not too sure whether he will be able to do so. Up in the top half of the field, though, you've got Dave Peat behind Andy Dixie. That is a battle for P number 7 at the moment. It's got him about 2 tenths behind here. Now going to be behind onto the inside, maybe to switch back. I don't know, but Dixie going a very defensive line through club there. And now heading through. Dave Peat still really close here. And may be able to make a move through. He's right behind. I'm not too sure. He's going to back out. Dave Peat being very patient here. And he's actually really scared Andy Dixie into a late move. Who's had to go. And he is going to stay off the course here. Andy Dixie off the course. Gets it back on. He stays off actually whilst drivers are coming through. Now gets onto the course. Luckily, no extra contact involved. Actually, no contact involved in that at all. Now, Nuno Rodriguez trying to get past Roop Wilson. And that's a battle for P15 at the moment. Now, I saw that Roop recently got past Rodriguez. I saw his name was highlighted on the left-hand side whilst we were looking at the battle just gone. And now coming through, as mentioned in the chat, yes, Heli Corsa is very recommended. I race it myself as well. But sometimes it's not exactly accurate, and I do pull across even when it is yellow, and I can be quite close, but it's also quite fun to try and risk it. But here comes Nuno Rodriguez on the inside of Roop Wilson. Will Roop Wilson be able to hold it on the outside? I'm not too sure. Rodriguez has been able to do it. Wilson goes for a late break. Rodriguez goes for a later break. Keeps it on the circuit. Wilson's going to be down that position, but coming into Luffield, the racing lines, will Roop be able to catch back up? Will Wilson be able to make that move back through? I'm not too sure, but that is Ernie Wright in front of them, right? That is. So Ernie is just really lost confidence because he's got Nuno Rodriguez and Rick Wilson behind. So that is a real shame. Also, what is recommended for drivers is an app that is also recommended on Race Room, which is Crew Chief. It works on Race Room, it works on Assetto Corsa, it works on Automobilista, it works on pretty much any racing simulator, and it's really good. It tells, he's a spotter, so he tells you when cars are on your left, he tells you when cars are on your right, he tells you your lap times, your fuel usage, your tyre wear. He also tells you to ignore the little behind. He does swear at me because I turned on swearing messages, and it's quite fun sometimes. But Andrew Ford is getting in a battle here with Dennis Betty. Now, Dennis Betty actually qualified behind Roop Wilson, if I'm not mistaken, and he is in the top 8, and Roop Wilson is 8 positions behind in 16, which is really good for Dennis Betty. I know that Dennis and Roop both in R Factor together in the Hysterex cars with their small group of drivers. If you want to join that, actually, it's a really nice community. It's very clean, very respectful, nowhere near as fast as these racers, and it's all a lot of fun on the R Factor sim. It is still raced on Race Room. Just go over onto the R Factor series sub forums, you'll find R Factor and you'll find the Hysterex slot, because absolutely amazing group of people that are there. Andrew Ford, though, on the inside of Dennis Betty. He's going to be on the outside coming up through the loop. Dennis is going to be trying his hardest, but Betty is down. Ford is through, and Ford is up to P number 8 in the Mazda. That's very weird to say. Nichols, though, on the outside of Betty, and Betty's going to lose 2 positions in 2 corners because Nichols is through. And now Dennis Betty is behind. He's going to be behind along Wellington Straight, heading up towards Brooklands. He's going to look for the way up the inside. Can't quite do it, and he's not going to be close enough, but that's a little bit of a late move and a little braking. Sorry, late braking from Scott Nichols. Luckily able to hold it. Now we know Nichols is rather fast, so obviously one of our higher qualifiers. This is Nuno Rodriguez looking to get up the inside of Ernie Wright, who's really lost confidence in his car. Coming through Brooklands now, and coming through the right-hander in this battle for Pete number 14. Just checking over the chat now, and KO8, you like that man. I'm not too sure what you're on about, but I'm sure he likes you back. And Laurie, get this man a beer. Okay, again, I don't know who you're on about, but I'm sure that they will get a beer at the end of this race. I know that Luke Wilson is having wine right now, so he's drinking and driving. It's not always the best possible thing. That's probably why he's lost it so far. He's not been able to gain up the order like his acquaintance and his workmate Dennis Betty, who's been able to pull quite far up the order. He's lost 2 positions in the recent laps, though, unfortunately, in recent corners, actually. Andrew Ford is looking to go make a move. He's going to move on the outside of Dave Pete. Dave is going to try his hardest to hold the inside line and to stow. Ford's going to be able to push it quite nicely around the outside. Now, about 2 months ago, remember, Ford ran a 6-hour race around this circuit. Granted it... Oh, there's a side-by-side behind, because here comes Scott Nichols to get involved. As I was just quickly saying there, Andrew Ford did run a 6-hour race. He ran about 3 hours of that race, so he knows his circuit very, very well indeed. Definitely with about 24 hours plus of testing previous. So that's got Nichols, though, going to be on the inside of Dave Pete, coming into turn number 1, coming up towards into Abby. They're going to be side by side. There's a little bit of a tap, and that is going to be Dave Pete thrown off. But I believe Nichols hasn't actually gained the position. Dave Pete done a very good job of being able to hold the outside there and keep it in the position with only 9 minutes to go. We're over 2/3 of the way through. Hello everyone watching, hello everyone who has joined, as we're now coming along through Aintree. Luke Wilson actually having a nice little battle here, because there's 3 cars, very close proximity. And it's going to be Ernie Wright ahead of Luke Wilson, but Rodriguez is on the outside of Wilson through the loop. Will he be able to hold it? Wilson only just holds it over Rodriguez. And now coming into Aintree, and that is the position for Wilson ahead of Rodriguez now. And that's also increased the gap to about a second up towards Wright. So the 3 definitely battling, but here comes Rodriguez back up the inside into Brooklands. This is how he got the position in the first place. Really be able to hold it once more. He's really leaving no room for Wilson on the outside. Wilson back down to position, but there's a big slide for Nuno Rodriguez. Luke Wilson slams into the rear, and I believe there would have been some sort of radio call there saying just keep on going. I'm not too sure, because he is going rather slow on the outside. Nope, he's going to allow Rodriguez back through. And he's going to be down the order. Very gentleman driving there indeed. Dennis Betty in 10th is only about half a second off Dave Pete. So the battle that Pete had with Nichols has really allowed Betty to catch back up. Now they're coming out on the exit of Brooklands there. Not Brooklands, Beckett's there, through Chapel and on to Hangar Straight. Dennis Betty all over the rear of Dave Pete. A move perhaps up towards Stowe. He's going to move to the outside line, because that's definitely defensive from Dave Pete on the inside. Now hanging on the outside line. Can't quite do it at the moment. He's going to have to sit behind. And about 3 tenths between them still, coming up towards through Vale now. And then into Club. Hit the brakes, and he's going to be able to close it just ever so slightly on Pete, but he's not going to be able to make the move as of yet. Again, I don't know why my frame rates are being absolutely chomped up around this circuit, but they are, and it's a real shame that they are. Jeffrey Tazanoy is only about half a second off of Samuel Fuller here, and if it gets any closer, we may have a really nice battle for the lead in the final few laps. because of how long it takes to get around the lap, I believe we've only got about 4 more to go. Jeffrey Tazanoy has closed up to Samuel Fuller. They're coming up through Village now. And no, sorry, that isn't that battle for the lead. That was, sorry, that battle for 10th that we were looking at. This is Jeffrey Tazanoy. He is right on the rear, coming through Woodcote. That's where they are on the circuit. And this is coming on National Pit Straights, and he's going to move to the inside, heading up towards Copse Corner. Tazanoy is going to be on the inside line of Samuel Fuller. Fuller's going to be able to hold the outside line, coming through Copse. Both of them really that was really extending of track limits by Samuel Fuller, and it's allowed Jeffrey Tazanoy to now pull side by side, heading into Maggots and Beckett's. They are running side by side, coming into Maggots, who's going to get the line. It's going to be squeezed out completely onto the grass by Jeffrey Tazanoy, but Samuel Fuller gets back into the lead, but no, he's off. Samuel Fuller's off from the lead. Jeffrey Tazanoy completely disadvantaged him there, and I feel like that was Jeffrey Tazanoy's fault there. I don't know whether there was contact, but I don't know. I don't think he left any room, and I'm afraid to say it, he pretty much kiviated Samuel Fuller there, who just slammed into the tyre barrier down to P number 3. Not too much. Tariq Emil is still involved in that, so it could have been a 3-way tie for the lead in the race, but Jeffrey Tazanoy, I'm not too sure. That very much could be reviewed at the end of this race. Definitely is if there is a report sent from Samuel Fuller. But Fuller immediately got into the lead of the race following that contact, of course, that was going on in that huge 6-7 car battle. The moment he got into that lead, he was pulling away. Jeffrey Tazanoy has been able to close up over the course of the race, and it was enough to get into that battle just then. But unfortunately, ended in the worst way possible. Andy Dixie on the outside of Dennis Betty. Betty's trying to hold on to a top 10. He was rather close to Dave Peat, but that gap's now open to about 2 seconds. And now Betty, instead of making a move, going for the position, he's now having to defend from Andy Dixie into club. The gap is relatively large, as there is still a gap between them, but it's not too big. Now Betty pushing slightly on the track limits, coming through club, now up towards the line. The lovely Silverstone main building on the right hand side. I would love to be able to go in that one day. Now up towards Abbey, coming through behind Dennis Betty, now into Farm Curve, heading up towards Village. He's gonna be behind Betty. Will he make the move? No, he doesn't. He stays behind into the braking zone of Village. On the right-hand side, though, he's going to be on the outside line of the loop. That's not exactly what you always want, but he tries to switch back, which is what you want. Gets a much faster exit. He's definitely going to get on Dennis Betty through Aintree and then onto Woodcote. He's going to have the much better run along Woodcote here. Wellington, sorry. Along Wellington Straight here. Woodcote's obviously the final turn of the old layout. Into Brooklands now on the inside of Brooklands. They're going to be very close indeed. A little bit of a wobble from Dennis Betty leaves the room for Andy Dixie. He's going to be down to P number 11. Andy Dixie up to P number 10. That battle for P number 1 is now within half a second. Tariq Gamil just 5/10 behind Jeffrey Tazanoy with just 3.5 minutes remaining. This could be an absolute cracking battle up there, but we've just got to wait and see. Coming through Stowe Corner now. The gap about 6/10 at the moment. 3 minutes to go in the session. So we're going to finish at about 8:45 GMT. Through club and through the second part of club and into the final corner now. 3 minutes to go as they come across the line. That's going to be 2 more laps remain. 2 more laps for Tariq Gamil to be able to get through and get past Jeffrey Tazanoy. Will he be able to do it? Tariq Gamil obviously qualified from pole, dropped it down to 6th position in that huge, massive battle with 6, 7, 8 cars even, I think it was. There's so many cars, so now I think it was 5 wide at one point. Absolutely crazy, but Tariq Gamil was the huge loser in that. Lost it all the way down to 6th. But he's been able to move back up the order. He was in 3rd, and obviously that mistake from Simon Fuller. He's dropped it down to... no, sorry, he is still in 3rd. It was on the way inside. It was in 4th for a moment. No, he is still in 3rd. He dropped it down quite a lot, but thanks to the contact between Tazanoy and between Fuller, it knocked Gamil up the order. And now through the right-hand side. Race control saying no contact between Tazanoy and Fuller. Fuller ran wide whilst there was no room on the track and just lost it while redrooning. Thank you very much, race control, for letting us know that. Obviously, there is a little bit of a delay. I say a little bit of a delay thanks to my internet at the moment. There is quite a big delay, about 2 minutes between me getting race control notes from the moment they are sent to us. 1.5 minutes to go, 2 more laps to go. Well, 1.5 laps to go. Tariq Gamil all over the rear of Jeffrey Tazanoy. Coming in through Maggots into Beckett's now. 2 tenths between them. It's all going to be up to the final lap. Tariq Gamil, what is he going to be able to do? Just 1 and a bit more laps remain. Tariq Gamil is 1/10 of a second behind. He's going to go to the left-hand side, long hanger straight. He's going to be on the outside into Stowe. Will he be able to hold it? I don't know, but if he is, that's going to be the position, surely. And if Jeffrey Tazanoy can't make the move back, it's going to be, but no. Tariq Gamil can't hold it on the outside line. Going to have to stick behind at the moment on the exit of Stowe. Heading up through Vale. There's a little bit of a wobble from Tariq Gamil. He moves to the inside through Vale. And he's going to be on the inside line into Club Corner. There's going to be contact. There's only a little bit of a scrape. Jeffrey Tazanoy hold on to the lead. Tariq Gamil goes to the switchback. Can't quite do it. 1 more lap to go. And there was a huge battle between Jeffrey Tazanoy and Tariq Gamil for the lead. That's going to be Tazanoy goes to the inside line of Abbey. Tariq Gamil goes to the outside line. Who's going to be able to hold the line? It's definitely going to be Tazanoy. Gamil holds behind at the moment. They both run through almost full throttle through turn number 1. Now through Farm Curve. Heading up to Village. This battle for the lead is absolutely crazy. And it's going to come down to the line. I hope it's going to come down to the line. Gamil right behind. Now we saw a battle on Sunday where it was going to be the closest finish in the whole time that I've been broadcasting at Race Department, which is now 5 months, 6 months almost. And it was going to be the closest, and then there was a spin and a crash on the final lap that split the 2 race leaders up. Will this be close though? Will it be Gamil or will it be Tazanoy able to hold on to the lead? Coming into Brooklands, Gamil breaks really late to try and catch up to Jeffrey Tazanoy. They're really pushing as hard as they possibly can into Lovefield. You can see that Gamil's able to close right up through the Brooklands Lovefield complex there. And he's going to be able to keep that gap rather close heading up through Woodcott. Again, my frame rate is just being eaten here. And I'm not too sure why. I will try to fix that tomorrow. But coming along the line now, Gamil behind Jeffrey Tazanoy. Coming up along into Cops Corner. He's going to be right behind into the Megas and Beckett's compacts. We're going to get our cameras set up. And Gamil goes to the outside. Who's going to be able to do it? Jeffrey Tazanoy was on the outside last time, but it's going to be Gamil. Drops back in now. He's going to stay behind. He's really pushing the track limits there, trying to get through. I believe he's cut a number of corners in the past couple of laps going for the lead here. And he is really close coming on the exit. Now coming up through Chapel onto Hanger Straight and heading up towards Stowe. He's going to go for the outside line again because Jeffrey Tazanoy goes defensive on the inside. Tariq Gamil technically has the lead of your race at the moment, but he's going to have to hold it on the outside line now through Stowe Corner. Tariq Gamil is in the lead. He leaves absolutely no room for Jeffrey Tazanoy, but Tazanoy somehow been able to stick it. Tariq Gamil really pushes to the outside of the circuit. He should have come off the throttle because that was extending track limits. Tariq Gamil is going to come into the final corners now through Club. Jeffrey Tazanoy is going to look for the better exit. It's going to be really close, but I think because Tariq Gamil pushed the track limits there, he's going to be able to take the lead, but I don't know because Jeffrey Tazanoy is really close. Oh my god, it's going to be Tariq Gamil only just across the line ahead of Jeffrey Tazanoy. What a finish! What a finish to the race. That is the closest motor race I've seen for the lead. Holy God. Wow. That was absolutely fantastic. You've still got Andy Dixie and Edward Janosweski, though, battling up towards through Vale into Club. Andy Dixie going to be on the outside line. Edward Janosweski is going to hold the inside. Who's going to bet the better exit out of these two? It looks like it's going to be able to do... Oh, sorry, that's a battle between Andy Dixie and Dave Pete. Janosweski's already pulled away. Actually, I'm not too sure now. Yeah, it is. This is between Dave Pete and Andy Dixie. And it's going to be Dave Pete ahead of Andy Dixie. Dennis Petty crossing the line just behind. Now we're going to get our camera set up here to view the line as the rest of the cars come through. Whoa. that was an end. Let us get our race results here following that. Tariq Gamil won the race by less than a tenth of a second. 0.059 seconds between Gamil and Tasnoy. Absolutely fantastic. Samuel Fuller finished in third with Simon Hodge in fourth and Akim Demuth in fifth. Scott Nichold finished in seventh with Andrew Ford, Edward Janoswewski, Dave Peet and Andy Dixie round out your top 10. Then we had Dennis Petty, Hap Grassoff, Ernie Wright, Flavio Bosca, Nunu Rodriguez, Luke Wilson, Dimitri Donate, Thorben Pulick and Bill Saluta. And then there comes Jeff Tournier at the end of that race. As you can see in the chat there, Jeffrey Tasnoy asking if himself and Samuel did come together. In our race control, it says no, they haven't. Paul Bennett running out your field. Then Magnus Danbury, like I said, had that disconnect earlier on in the race on only lap 4, unfortunately. Magnus, and then we're at the very rear. But that was an absolutely fantastic race. What an end. And as you can say there, Samuel Fuller, no, that was all me. So he knows that it was his fault, unfortunately. But what a race that was. I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you join us for our next broadcast, which is tomorrow, because we are running the Boxmasters on our Factor 2 for a fun event. But our next proper professional broadcast will be on Sunday, with Race Room Sunday, of course. I hope to see you then. Goodbye.